Well, hello and good evening, everyone, and welcome into the Jimmy John's pregame show. Tonight, we are getting you set for another presentation of Crusaders men's basketball here on the Capital Sports Network. I'm Charlie Danis. I'll be bringing you the action tonight. It's another non-conference matchup for the Crusaders as they welcome in the Bulldogs of Adrian College out of the state of Michigan. As I said before, this is the Jimmy John's pregame show. Let's go ahead and talk about the last game that took place for these Crusaders, and it was a game that took place on Sunday as Capital concluded action in the OAC NCAC Challenge. That is an early non-conference tournament, I should say, where teams from the Ohio Athletic Conference as well as the North Coast Athletic Conference come together, compete against one another, and test their skills, getting themselves ready for what should be a long basketball season. Well, the Crusaders, they were able to come out on top over a worthy opponent, at least if you go by what that team has done in the past. I'm talking about the Battling Bishops of Ohio Wesleyan. The final score was 90-81. It was a very high-scoring affair between the Bishops and the Crusaders, but Capital was able to come out on top thanks to a couple of great performances, particularly from their starters. 17 points apiece for Will Hanna and Joey Weingartner. Also 13 points off the bench for Gavin Wildermuth. And Austin Schreck, he scored all 10 of his points in the second half. But the player of the game had to be Caleb Cox, a senior from the Queen City of Cincinnati, Ohio. Showed out in a big way, scoring 25 points, racking up 9 rebounds. He also had 5 steals and 4 assists. The big man did a little bit of everything as he shot 7-11 from the field and a perfect 11 of 11 at the foul line as well. With the win, Capital was able to improve its record to 2-2, so now they're back at the 500 mark, but now they're going to try to get above the 500 mark. Standing in their way is a Bulldog squad that is 3-1 on the early 2018-2019 campaign, and as we will explain coming up later on in the pregame show, the Bulldogs, they have their fair share of firepower offensively. We're just getting started here on the Jimmy John's pregame show. Coming up, we'll take a look around the Ohio Athletic Conference and even check in as to how the women's team is doing so far here at Capital, and a big hint, very well so far here in the young 2018-2019 campaign. You are listening to the Jimmy John's pregame show here on your home for Crusaders men's basketball, the Capital Sports Network.
Where will you live your purpose? Not in a refuge from the real world. The university anchored in the center of Ohio is at the epicenter of possibility, purpose, and the power of purple. There's no time for hesitation here. No need to put things neatly into boxes. Just the need to nurture the role you were born for, no matter who you are. We believe that engagement is as important as education, that curiosity is as important as the classroom. And when given the chance, we do more, not less. Purpose.
Welcome back to the Jimmy John's pregame show, leading you up to the 7 p.m. tip-off between Adrian College and your Capital University Crusaders. I'm Charlie Danis. It's now time to take a look around the Ohio Athletic Conference. This OAC update is brought to you by Donato's Pizza. Well, let's tell you the player that stood out last week, and that would be junior guard from Muskingum, Mr. Marcus Dempsey. Native of Zanesville, Ohio, led the Muskies to a 2-0 record last week with wins over North Park as well as Mount St. Joseph. Dempsey averaged 29 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists per game. And he also shot 20 of 37 from the field, good for 54%, and 13 of 16 from the foul line. Marcus Dempsey, part of that very offensive-loaded group that they have over there at Muskingum. Look for the Muskies to make some noise in the OAC during the 2019 campaign. Let's go ahead and take a look at the standings. It's a very small sample size, but for right now, you got Marietta and Mount Union, who are tied atop the conference with equal 1-0 marks. Marietta a perfect 5-0. Mount Union 5-1 overall. Meanwhile, Baldwin Wallace and Otterbein, they have started out 0-1 within conference play. John Carroll is 3-1 overall. Muskingum 2-1, as is Wilmington. Capital 2-2. Ohio Northern 2-2. Baldwin Wallace 3-2. Otterbein 1-4. And Heidelberg still looking for their first win of the season. They are 0-3. Finally, let's go ahead and tell you who is playing who. Games involving teams from the Ohio Athletic Conference here on this Wednesday night, November 28th of 2018. Coming up at 7 o'clock, Thomas More will play host to Ohio Northern. Otterbein will play host to Denison out of the North Coast Athletic Conference. Wilmington, they will be at Earlham tonight. That game is slated for a 7:30 tip-off. And finally, coming up at 8 o'clock, Marietta, they will be taking on the Tigers of Wittenberg, another team out of the North Coast Athletic Conference. Again, that game is scheduled for an 8 o'clock start. It's now time to take a look around Capital. The Capital Countdown brought to you by two men and a truck moving company. Let's change gears here and talk about the women's team for just a moment. And so far, so good for the women's team. They have started off 3-0 on the young campaign. Their most recent game came back on Tuesday, November 20th, when the Crusaders took down Wittenberg by a final of 66-53. Riley Hadji had 16 points, as well as Elle Folan, who shot 4 of 8 from three-point range. And Aaron Reisner also chipped in with 12 points as well. It was all added up to a 3-0 start for the Crusaders, who will not be back in action until Saturday when the men's team hosts Otterbein. The women's team, they'll be on the road. They will be in Westerville taking on the Cardinals. That game is scheduled for a 3 o'clock tip-off. Another commercial break. When we come back, we're going to go ahead and set the table for Capital as well as their opponent tonight, the Bulldogs of Adrian College. You are listening to the Jimmy John's pregame show here on your home for Crusaders men's basketball, the Capital Sports Network.
Dill's Greenhouse is a local family business dedicated to offering the best shopping experience and honest prices for your gardening needs. If you're in need of annuals, perennials, vegetable plants, or any variety of gardening tools and resources, Dill's Greenhouse is more than happy to get you on the right path. Dill's Greenhouse is located at 5800 Rager Road in Groveport, Ohio, and is open 7 days a week. Visit them online for more information at dillsgreenhouse.net. Dill's Greenhouse. Only nature does it better.
I wanted to fly. They said I couldn't. So I built a plane, then a spaceship, then I went to the moon. I invented jazz, hip-hop, rock and roll. Some called it noise. I said it was music. I wrote a letter and sent it by ponies. It didn't get to you fast enough, so I used trucks and ships. But still, they weren't fast enough for me. So I lost the paper and the ink. I sent it by magic. I called it email. I made up new words: jukebox, bling, Google. And I decided some old words weren't okay to say ever again. The mustache. I tried to bring that back 17 times. I wore knickerbockers and shoulder pads, poodle skirts and flannel. When I came back from World War II, all I had was a t-shirt. So I made that cool. In fact, I invented cool. Who am I? I'm the spirit of youth. It's my job to move the world forward. Pepsi. Every generation refreshes the world.
Where will you live your purpose?
Welcome back to the Jimmy John's pregame show. Let's now go ahead and set the table for Capital. This is brought to you by Pepsi. Live for now. Well, like I said, Capital got some very good offensive performances earlier this week when they were able to take down Ohio Wesleyan by a final score of 90-81. But I'm here to tell you, folks, there might be one player for Capital that has already sounded their candidacy for OAC Player of the Year honors. It has been a tremendous start for Caleb Cox, averaging 18 points per game through 4 games. He is shooting 56% from the field. He is shooting 24 of 28 from the foul line. For those of you not up on math, that is good for 86%. And he also is averaging 9.3 rebounds per game. So let's check that just for a moment here. Averaging nearly 20 points per game, averaging nearly a double-double, and a very good foul shooter at that. big men are typically not the best foul shooters at the foul line, but Cox certainly goes against the grain on that one. So Cox has definitely gotten off to a tremendous start this year, as has Joey Weingartner, who's averaging 19.5 points per game through 4 games, all of them starts. Weingartner shooting 14 of 30 from three-point range, good for 47%, and he's also shooting 48% from the field. And it seems as though that Cox and Weingartner will be that dynamic duo for Capital this year, although it should bear mentioning that Will Hanna, he's averaging almost 12 points per game, and Austin Schreck, he's averaging 13.5 points per game. So it's not just a one-man crew here at Capital. It's multiple guys that have been getting it done offensively, and that bodes very well for the Crusaders here in the young part of the 2018-2019 campaign. Let's now go ahead and set the table for Capital's opponent tonight. This, too, is brought to you by Pepsi. Let's introduce you to the Bulldogs of Adrian College. The Bulldogs come in here with a record of 3-1 on the season. They started off the year with 2 straight wins, a victory over Defiance back on the 10th, followed by a win over Anderson of Indiana on the 16th. They then lost to Manchester 86-78 back on the 17th before getting back on the winning side to get things at Earlham. 62-54 was the final in that one. The man who really has stood out offensively for Adrian so far this season has been Jordan Harris. The sophomore from the Circle City of Indianapolis has been averaging 20 points per game, and it's no wonder. He's shooting 42% from three-point range, 44% from the field as well. A young man that is averaging just about 34 minutes per game for this Bulldog squad, and a lot has been placed on his shoulders so far as a sophomore, but so far Jordan Harris has been up to the task. Now, it's not just Harris that's been getting it done offensively for the Bulldogs this season. Jeremy Kalanji has started all 4 games as well. Kalanji is also a native of the Hoosier State, hailing from Fort Wayne, Indiana. He averages 17 points per game. He has shot 45% from three-point range. He'll pop it from downtown every once in a while, but he mostly does a lot of his work on the inside, where he is shooting 47% from the field, and he also averages 7.5 rebounds per game, so he's definitely a threat on the glass for the Bulldogs as well. And finally, Sam Colbert. Colbert's a sophomore, also from Indianapolis, averaging 14 points per game, shooting 41% from 3, 52% from the field as well. It's an Adrian team that is averaging just about 78 points per game. We've already seen Capital put up a whole bunch of points this season, so we could very well be in for a high-scoring affair between both the Bulldogs and the Crusaders as they get set to take on one another in a non-conference affair here at the Capitol Center. A very interesting ball game. This plans on being as both teams are looking to improve their non-conference records, and hopefully Capital can come in here tonight and exhibit that same firepower that they have displayed offensively. And they're definitely going to need it against a Bulldog squad that likes to put up a lot of points on the season. We'll take another quick commercial break. When we come back, we will have the keys to tonight's game. What is it going to take for Capital to come out with a victory tonight over the Bulldogs? I will tell you about that and more as we continue with the Jimmy John's pregame show coming up in just a moment.
OSU Sports Medicine is a proud supporter of Crusader student-athletes by providing sports health services for Capital University athletics and student health services. Through the work and care of team physicians and athletic trainers, it's the team behind your team. For all fans, if you're looking to improve your physical performance, recover from an injury, or stay active for a lifetime, the experts at Ohio State Sports Medicine are there for you. Visit sportsmedicine.osu.edu or call 366-4332.
Ed, what is that bizarre contraption?
It's my latest Jimmy John's online ordering enhancement, sir.
Really?
Yes, sir. You know our popular Jimmy John's online ordering service?
Yes, click, order, eat.
This is the perfect time-saving companion.
How perfect, Ed?
Presenting the Jimmy John's F4000 three-dimensional sandwich printer.
Oh, boy.
See, we put one of these babies in the home of every Jimmy John's customer.
Uh-huh.
They order the sandwich online.
Uh-huh.
And we send a signal to the F4000 to make their sandwich.
Ed, how much does one of these babies cost?
With the quantity discount, $50,000, sir.
And how long does it take to print a sandwich?
About 8 hours, sir.
Do you see where I'm going with this?
So back to the drawing board?
No, stay away from the drawing board, Ed.
Just as fresh as its pizza, Donato's is fresh off of its 50th anniversary and still serving the Columbus area with pride. Now introducing online ordering, Donato's Pizza is ready for your order at any time from anywhere. Donato's also features a gluten-free menu and will even cater your next big event. Donato's Pizza in Bexley is located at 2800 East Main Street and is available by phone at 614-235-4477. Donato's Pizza, proud supporter of Capital Crusader Athletics.
When looking for great food at low price, be sure to visit Peking Dynasty on the corner of Livingston and Sheridan right near the Capital University campus. Peking Dynasty has a large selection of Chinese food and sushi, along with great tasting chicken and beef selections that can please any appetite. In addition, Capital University students receive discounts with a valid ID any day of the week. That's Peking Dynasty on the corner of Livingston and Sheridan right near the Capital campus, where we are proud to say, Go Cap!
Where will you live your purpose? Not in a refuge from the real world. The university anchored in the center of Ohio is at the epicenter of possibility, purpose, and the power of purple. There's no time for hesitation here. No need to put things neatly into boxes. Just the need to nurture the role you were born for, no matter who you are. We believe that engagement is as important as education. That curiosity is as important as the classroom. And when given the chance, we do more, not less. Live, learn, and lead with purpose. Just like the city that surrounds us. We're a coalition of the willing, an alliance of the ready, a union of the good. We're from Capital, and our purpose is purpose.
Welcome back to the Jimmy John's pregame show as we continue to inch closer and closer to tip-off between the Bulldogs of Earlham College and the Crusaders of Capital University. I'm Charlie Danis. Let's now get to tonight's keys to the game. These are brought to you by the Marriott Columbus Airport. Well, there are a few keys tonight that are going to be pivotal for Capital this evening as they try to push their record to above 500. Let's first start with the man who is, I think, going to be a strong candidate on this Capital team for OAC Player of the Year, Mr. Caleb Cox, coming off of a scintillating performance against Ohio Wesleyan on Sunday, in which he racked up 25 points, 9 rebounds. This guy did a little bit of everything: rebounding, scoring, assisting, even contributing on the defensive side with 5 steals. It's going to be very important for Capital to get Caleb Cox involved early and often in this game. He is the guy that gets their offense going, and Caleb Cox will certainly be a player to watch out for in this game as he looks to exert himself in the post once again for Capital. Key number 2, locate Jordan Harris. Jordan Harris, he's only a sophomore, but he's averaging 20 points per game. And it's very clear that Jordan Harris is the focal point of Jordan Harris, is the focal point of Adrian College, Harris is averaging 20 points per game, shooting the ball very well from 3. It's going to be very important for Capital to nail down this guy defensively, try to limit his shot opportunities, and keep an eye on him around the perimeter, because this is a young man that is able to light it up whenever he gets this chance, especially if you leave him wide open. So that's key number 2. Key number 3, continue this great team ball that the Crusaders have been playing lately. And what do I mean by that? 4 double-digit scores for Capital. We already talked about Caleb Cox ad nauseum, but also Joey Weingartner's gone off to a nice start. Will Hanna's averaging double figures. Austin Schreck is also averaging double figures. That is 4 of your 5 starters, if you are Capital, that is already averaging double figures in scoring. So the Crusaders have definitely got to keep this great thing that they got offensively going, a team that is right now shooting 46% from the field. The three-point percentage can come up a little bit for Capital, only shooting 32% as a team, but you would have to think that at some point that percentage is just going to continue to rise as the season progresses here during the 2018-2019 campaign. So those are 3 keys. I will even add a 4th key into there as well. I want to see what Cameron Caldwell is going to be able to do at point guard. Caldwell not really getting into it from a scoring standpoint, only averaging 5.3 points per game. But in order to have a successful offense, you're going to have a good point guard that is able to run the show effectively. And if that is the case, then Capital should be in very good shape offensively tonight because Caldwell has plenty of options that he can dish to. Joey Weingartner, Will Hanna, Austin Schreck, Caleb Cox, just to name a few. So those would be my 4 keys to the game. Capital trying to go over the 500 mark. And let's just hope that they'll be able to continue this great thing they got going offensively as they look to push their record to 3-2. We will have more of the Jimmy John's pregame show coming up in just a moment. Stay tuned.
This is a message for the nurses among us, for those who dream of saving lives, for those who are driven to improve care, and for those ready to help heal what's broken, be it a single bone fracture or an entire hospital system. Capital University's advanced nursing programs are built for you. Engaged faculty, immersive learning, and intimate classes where you'll know everyone's name. To learn more, visit capital.edu/nursing. Advanced nursing at Capital University, for those driven to do more.
Where will you live your purpose? Not in a refuge from the real world. The university, anchored in the center of Ohio, is at the epicenter of possibility, purpose, and the power of purple. There's no time for hesitation here. No need to put things neatly in their boxes. Just the need to nurture the role you were born for, no matter who you are. We believe that engagement is as important as education, that curiosity is as important as the classroom. And when given the chance, we do more, not less. Purpose.
With 14 TVs to watch your favorite team or the next big event, Blank's Cafe and Pizzeria in German Village is ready for you and your group today. Plenty of free parking, free Wi-Fi, banquet rooms for private parties, and daily specials. What more reason do you need to visit Blank's Cafe and Pizzeria? Blank's is located at 743 Parsons Avenue and has been serving the Columbus community since 1939. Planks is on the web at plankscafe.com or available by phone at 614-443-6251. Planks Cafe and Pizzeria is a proud supporter of Crusader Athletics.
New vehicles, reliable pre-owned vehicles, top-notch, high-quality service technicians, and friendly, trustworthy sales associates dedicated to customer service. Byers Airport Subaru in Columbus is ready to get you into the vehicle that you were meant for. Stop by to see our selection at 401 North Hamilton Road in Columbus and take a test drive, or call Byers Airport Subaru at 877-265-9695 today. Byers Airport Subaru is a proud supporter of Crusader Athletics. Subaru, confidence in motion.
Where will you live your purpose? Not in a refuge from the real world. The university, anchored in the center of Ohio, is at the epicenter of possibility, purpose, and the power.
It's the perfect sports bar because it's not just a sports bar.
I'm Gary Calico, founder and president of Rusty Bucket. A lot of families build their sports world around the bucket.
It's not just a guy's night out. You can bring your wife, you can bring your kids.
We get a lot of groups in after games.
Great place after the game.
Kids love to come here.
The Rusty Bucket Restaurant and Tavern.
Grab life by the bucket.
The
The Rusty Bucket is a proud supporter of the Capital Crusaders. Visit us after the game at 2158 East Main Street and grab life by the bucket.
Back here at the Capitol Center, getting you set for tonight's men's basketball matchup between the Bulldogs of Adrian College and the Crusaders of Capital University. Capital comes into this game with a record of 2-2. The Bulldogs are 3-1. We referenced this earlier in the pregame show, folks, about how this game could be a high-scoring affair. Capital so far on the season has been averaging nearly 80 points a game, and Adrian is right up there as well. They're just a shade below 78 points per game. Two teams that really like to shoot the ball, particularly from the field. Capital needs to raise that three-point percentage a little bit more as the Crusaders come in here averaging 32% from downtown. Meanwhile, it's an Adrian bunch that really likes to shoot the three. They've already jacked up 88 threes through only 4 games this season, shooting at 44% from downtown. So expect the ball to be flying here at the Capitol Center. Plenty of buckets. Capital just coming off of a 90-81 win. Expect a similar game if both offenses show up here in Bexley, Ohio. The Crusaders have gotten off to a nice start this year, losing to Albion by a final of 78-68, but rebounded with a good win against a tough Trine squad. Fell to Wittenberg, who's usually a pretty good team out of the NCAC, but again, that win over Ohio Wesleyan, that's going to prove to be a good confidence booster for this Crusader squad, who was picked to finish 6th in the OAC. Talked about this during the broadcast on Sunday about how that was a little surprising considering all the returners that Capital had coming back for the 2018-2019 campaign. Guys like Schreck, guys like Cox, just to name a few. But the OAC, once again, the conference is going to be very, very deep. You're going to have many, many teams that are going to be challenging for that OAC title, for spots in the NCAA tournament as well, and Capital is hoping that they can be part of that group. When we come back, we will have starting lineups in the opening tip-off from the Capitol Center. It's going to be Adrian versus Capital. Coming up next here on your home for Crusaders men's basketball, the Capital Sports Network.
Dill's Greenhouse is a local family business dedicated to offering the best shopping experience and honest prices for your gardening needs. If you're in need of annuals, perennials, vegetable plants, or any variety of gardening tools and resources, Dill's Greenhouse is more than happy to get you on the right path. Dill's Greenhouse is located at 5800 Rager Road in Groveport, Ohio, and is open 7 days a week. Visit them online for more information at dillsgreenhouse.net. Dill's Greenhouse. Only nature does it better.
Where will you live your purpose? Not in a refuge from the real world. The university anchored in the center of Ohio is at the epicenter of possibility, purpose, and the power of purple. There's no time for hesitation here. No need to put things neatly in their boxes. Just the need to nurture the role you were born for. No matter who you are, we believe that engagement is as important as education, that curiosity is as important as the classroom, and when given the chance, we do more, not less. Purpose.
Well, hello again, everyone. Welcome back to the Capitol Center. Both teams have made their way to the court, and everybody's all set and ready to go. Before we begin, let's send it down to our public address announcer. We will hear our national anthem, and then we'll give you the starting lineups for tonight's game. Let's now go ahead and get you tonight's starting lineups. These are brought to you by Dill's Greenhouse. Only nature does it better. Let's go ahead and begin with the visiting Bulldogs from Adrian College. The starting lineup looks like this. At guard is the 6'1" sophomore from the Circle City of Indianapolis, Indiana, number 1, Jordan Harris. Also at guard, the 6' junior from Lafayette, Indiana, number 4, Trayshawn Hurd. Also at guard is the 6'1" freshman from Fort Wayne, Indiana, number 13, Kylon Giroux. Also at guard is the 5'11" sophomore from Indianapolis, Indiana, number 21, Sam Colbert. And finally, rounding out the starting 5 for the Bulldogs tonight is the 6'5" junior forward from Fort Wayne, Indiana, number 35, Jeremy Kalongi. The head coach in his 3rd season at the helm for the Bulldogs is Kyle Lindsey. Now the starting 5 for the Crusaders of Capital University. At guard is the 6'3" senior from Erlanger, Kentucky, number 3, Austin Schreck. At forward is the 6'4" senior from Milford, Ohio, number 11, Will Hanna. At guard is the 6'2" senior from Centerville, Ohio, number 20, Joey Weingartner. Also at guard is the 6'1" sophomore from Westerville, Ohio, number 30, Cameron Caldwell. And finally, rounding out the starting 5 for the Crusaders tonight, the 6'7" senior forward from the Queen City of Cincinnati, Ohio, number 40, Caleb Cox, the head coach of the Crusaders in his 24th year as head coach here at Capital, Damon Goodwin. Capital coming off of a 90-81 victory over Ohio Wesleyan, and they will don the same uniforms that they wore in that victory over the Bishops, that being their gray jersey tops, gray shorts, white numbers outlined by purple, letters white outlined by purple as well. Adrian College, meanwhile, in their black uniforms with yellow piping. Caleb Cox is now going to jump. Looks as though that Kalonji will be jumping forward as well. And the tip is won by Capital. We are underway here at the Capital Center. Cam Caldwell running the offense at the point guard position, swings it on over to Joey Weingartner. Weingartner now dribbling to his left. He'll pass off to Schreck. Over to Caldwell. Shot fake. Caldwell trying to drive on in. He'll dish. It's swung around. Three-pointer on the way for Joey, and he knocks it down. Weingartner gets Capital on the board. An early 3-0 lead for the Crusaders. Beautiful ball movement that time as they were able to find Weingartner open for a 3 at the top of the arc. And now here's a steal by Schreck as he comes away with the ball. Schreck on the left wing. He'll try to drive. Now he'll dish. Swung over to Weingartner. Joey not able to knock the second one down. And the rebound is taken by Adrian College's Sam Colbert. Colbert will now bring it across the timeline. Colbert, a native of the Circle City of Indianapolis, Indiana. They'll now go inside to Kalonji, who averages 17 points on the season, at least so far through 4 games. Spin move, a jumper. That is no good for Giroux, and the rebound is taken by Caleb Cox. 3-0 lead for Capital. 18:51 remaining in our first half. Cox, top of the arc. Swung around to Hanna on the left wing. Will trying to drive inside, but being denied defensively by Jordan Harris. Now to Caldwell. Caldwell got stripped. Loses the ball. Coming up with it is Giroux. Giroux now trying to push. Back out to the perimeter. Trayshawn Hurd thought about a 3. Now the top of the arc. That's a miss for Colbert. And the rebound taken by Hanna. Over to Weingartner in the corner. Joey for 3. That's no good. Joey has missed 2 of his first 3 shots from beyond the perimeter so far. The ball goes out of bounds, and they will give it to the Bulldogs. Talked about this in the pregame show about how the Crusaders really need to up the ante when it comes to their three-point shooting. As a team, they're only shooting 32% from the field, and you know by the time OAC play comes around, they're going to need to have that three-point shooting well in gear because there are a lot of teams within the conference that like to shoot it from deep and make a lot of those shots from deep. Poked away, Weingartner with a steal for Capital. Joey will bring it across the timeline, now over to Will Hanna on the left wing. Hanna dribbling to his right, now give-offs to Schreck. Over to Caldwell on the right wing. Caldwell with a deep pass, and now an offensive foul is going to be called against Cox as he was battling for position down there on the low block with Kalonji. 3-0 lead for Capital. 17:50 to go in our first half, and that foul on Cox is our first foul of the game. Adrian has yet to be whistled for a foul. Treshawn Hurd brings it across half court. Now he'll try to drive. Nearly loses the ball, but he's able to poke it back out to Giroux, or Kalanji, excuse me. Now it's in the hands of Giroux. He'll try to drive, but he's cut off defensively by Hanna. 12 on the shot clock. A drive down the lane, and it is good for Kalanji as Adrian is able to get on the board for the first time tonight. 3-2 in favor of Capital. Schreck will have to slow his roll. Over to Hanna. Hanna will drive in, and he will get the bucket to go. That was a nice, tough drive by Hanna. But he's able to get two that time as Capital ups their lead to 3. 5-2 in favor of the Crusaders. 17:08 remaining here in the first half. Hurd with a turnaround, and it's blocked by Schreck. Hurd gets it back, however, and now it's over to Jordan Harris, who so far tonight has gotten off to a quiet start offensively, and now Cam Caldwell will be whistled for a foul. Got a little too much contact there while trying to guard Harris on the perimeter. Second team foul on Capital this half. 16:56 remaining in the first half. It's Capital 5, Adrian 2. So far, Capital shooting 50% from the field, Adrian 25%. They've made only one of their first 4 shots. Kalanji inside, and the layup is missed. Cox grabs the rebound. Looks as though that'd be an easy 2 there for Giroux, but he blew the shot. Cox will now dribble in. Nice bounce pass. Hanna got stripped. Here comes Adrian the other way, and now they will slow things up. Harris, he'll now try to drive the lane, and he gets fouled by Caldwell. That is already Cam's second foul of the game. 3rd team foul for Capital this half already, and this will force Caldwell to go to the bench. Meanwhile, Jordan Harris, he of the 20 points per game average, will be heading to the free throw line. And so far, Harris on the season, 15 of 18 from the cherry stripe, good for 83%. The shot is up, and that's no good. That will hurt the percentage a little bit as Dan Abel comes in for the Crusaders, as well as G. Yahaya. Both Caldwell and Will Hanna will check out for Capital. 5-2 lead for the Crusaders. Just a little over 16 and a half to play in the first half. One more foul shot awaits Jordan Harris. Went to Lighthouse High School in Indianapolis, Indiana. Shot is up, and it is good. Draws the Bulldogs to within 2. 5-3 lead for Capital. 16 and a half to play in our first half. Dan Abel will now bring it across the timeline. He'll hand off to Weingartner. Now it's over to Schreck. Schreck dribbling to his left. Now over to Abel. 17 on the shot clock, and another offensive foul is going to be called against Capital. Looks as though the G. Yahaya will be whistled for the foul. And now all of a sudden the fouls are starting to pile up here a little bit for Capital. That's now the 4th team foul on the Crusaders, and we're still waiting for the first foul to be called against the Bulldogs. So, after the foul against Yahaya, Adrian gets the ball back. Treshawn Hurd will pass off to Kalanji. Now a steal. Here comes Schreck the other way. He'll now have to slow things up as he will pass it back out to Abel. Yahaya over to Abel on the right wing. Dan will now go inside. Schreck trying to drive in. Over to G, and G got fouled. Not in the act of shooting, however. They say that the foul was committed on the floor, so that will be the first foul on Adrian tonight. Still 4 for Capital. 15:55 remaining in the first half. Capital 5, Adrian 3. Abel will be the trigger man as he will inbound this from the baseline. And meanwhile, checking in, Caleb Ballantyne, the freshman from Butler, Indiana. Shot up, missed by Capital. Weingartner for 3. Joey knocks it down from the left wing. 8-3 lead for Capital. And so far, 6 points for Weingartner. Now the Bulldogs looking for an offensive response, and a layup missed by Kalanji. Out of bounds. They will say that Capital will have the ball. Kalanji went in there a little too strong that time, as Dantes Rayner is also checked in. Rayner and Jordan Harris, former high school teammates at Lighthouse over in Indianapolis, and now college teammates at Adrian. 8-3 lead for Capital. 15:25 remaining in the first half. Yahaya inside, and Cox got his shot blocked. Blocked by Kalanji, and the loose ball is dug up by the Bulldogs as Jordan Harris is able to retrieve it. Harris will now pass on over to Ballantyne. Ballantyne near the left wing being guarded by Schreck. Back over to Rayner, and Rayner will now be whistled for a traveling violation as now both teams will make multiple substitutions. Let's see here. Reed Bradfield will come in for Capital. Meanwhile, coming back in for Adrian is Kylon Giroux as well as Trayshawn Hurd. 8-3 lead for Capital. Just over 15 minutes to play here in the first half. Adrian, so far, has gotten off to a slow start offensively, only shooting 17% from the field. Meanwhile, a timeout has been taken. We'll take a timeout as well. 15 minutes to play here in our first half. Capital 8, Adrian 3, here on your home for Crusaders men's basketball, the Capital Sports Network.
OSU Sports Medicine is a proud supporter of Crusader student athletes by providing sports health services for Capital University athletics and student health services. Through the work and care of team physicians and athletic trainers, it's the team behind your team. For all fans, if you're looking to improve your physical performance, recover from an injury, or stay active for a lifetime, the experts at Ohio State Sports Medicine are there for you. Visit sportsmedicine.osu.edu or call 366-4332.
Back here at the Capital Center, just under 15 minutes to play here in our first half. Capital 8, Adrian 3. I'm Charlie Danis. So glad that we could have you along for the ride for this presentation of Crusaders men's basketball here on the Capital Sports Network. They instantly go inside to Giahaya, and now a blocking foul is going to be called against Adrian. It appears as though that the foul went against Kylon Giroux. He went to Wayne High School in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Second team foul on Adrian this half. Schreck will inbound it from the baseline, and he'll get it into Bradfield, the sophomore from Erlanger, Kentucky. Went to the same high school as Schreck, Dixie Heights. Over to Weingartner, who's gotten off to a hot start, 6 points so far. Weingartner with a jumper, that's no good. Tapped out of bounds, and they will give it to Adrian. Bradfield tried his darndest to try to save that one to a teammate. The problem was that was nowhere near close to a person wearing a gray jersey. So it goes to the men in black instead, as Adrian gets possession here offensively. Trailing Capital 8-3, 14:22 remaining in the first half. A floater in the lane, that is no good for Giroux. Ball tipped up in the air, and Weingartner's able to come away with the loose ball for Capital. They head to Abel on the left wing. Weingartner almost had his pocket picked, and the jumper is good for Weingartner. Good 15-footer right there for Weingartner as he continues to shoot the ball well so far here tonight. Capital 10, Adrian 3, 13:58 remaining in the first half. Three-pointer, no good for Harris. And the rebound is taken by Giahaya. Passed over to Schreck. Schreck looking to go down the lane, and it is up, and it is, well, the shot will not count as Schreck is going to be whistled for a charge. Would have been good if it was whistled a blocking foul, but instead that foul will go against Schreck. 15 foul on Capital. And now Gavin Wildermuth will check back into the game. Wildermuth provided some very good minutes for Capital coming off the bench in the win over Ohio Wesleyan on Sunday. Scored in double-digit figures. This is a guy that is expected to play a lot of minutes off the bench, be a good backup guard, and also named one of the captains for Capital this year along with Schreck. So now Adrian back with the ball. Kawanji on the right wing. Being guarded by Bradfield. That was swung over to Hurd. Hurd trying to drive the lane, and it's out of bounds. It almost hit Damon Goodwin. Luckily for him, that's a turnover for the Bulldogs, and it missed him. So now the Crusaders will get the ball back. 10-3 lead for the Crusaders. 13:25 remaining in the first half. Bradfield, top of the arc, over to Wildermuth. Wildermuth now dribbling to his left, the wrong right wing. Pass off to G. 18 on the shot clock. G looking for some help. G trying to drive the lane, losing the ball, and they are going to say that it was off the hands of Kylon Giroux. 13 seconds remain on the shot clock here for Capital. Well, we were expecting a high-scoring game between both these teams, but so far, not a lot of points to come by, especially for Adrian. They've started 1 of 8 from the field, 12.5% from the field, and that's an easy 2 right there for Reed Bradfield as he was able to get open under the basket and score 2. 12-3 in favor of Capital now. A 9-point lead for the Crusaders. Could not ask for a better start offensively or defensively for the Crusaders. Dribbling around now with Sam Colbert. Colbert will now kick it on over to Hurd. Hurd, jumper is no good. G grabs the rebound for Capital. Now up ahead to Abel. Dan, a little nice behind the back motion that time as he's able to get the ball over to Wildermuth. 18 on the shot clock for Capital. Back over to Weingartner. Weingartner working with 8 points on the night so far. Bradfield now trying to drive. Tough jumper off the glass. That's no good. Yahaya, meanwhile, swooped in, and he forces a jump ball. Looked as though that was going to be a defensive rebound at first, but Krishan Hurd did not see Yahaya swoop in there that time. Unfortunately for Capital, possession arrow favors Adrian. So the Bulldogs will get the ball, but still, great effort there by Yahaya as he was trying to make a play for his team right there. Capital 12, Adrian 3. 12-16 remaining in the first half. A drive, Colbert, step back, jumper, no good. Rebound taken by Weingartner for Capital. Joey across the timeline. Nice pass ahead to Wildermuth. He misses, but the putback by Bradfield is good. 4 points early on for Reed Bradfield, the sophomore from Kentucky. 14-3 lead for Capitals. Now they have upped their lead to 11. Just under 12 minutes to play here in the first half. Meanwhile, Adrian still looking for something, anything, to go right here offensively as Kaz Oganowski has checked in. Jumper in the lane, no good, but a foul will be called against Reed Bradfield as he was defending on the play against Kalanji. 16 foul on Capital, and so now Kalanji will head to the foul line. Jeremy Kalanji, 6'5 junior from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Played in all 4 games, all 4 of them starts, averaging 17 points per game. And so far, it has been a challenge for him at the foul line as he misses the first foul shot, only shooting 48% from the charity stripe. Abel still out there along with Austin Schreck, Gavin Wildermuth, G. Yahaya, and Reed Bradfield for Capital. One more foul shot awaits Kalanji. It is up, and it is no good. And the rebound is taken by Yahaya. 14-3 lead for Capital. Abel pushes it ahead to Schreck. Skipped all the way over in the corner to Abel for 3. That's no good, and the rebound is taken by Hurd. Hurd up ahead for Adrian. Out to the perimeter. Harris back to Hurd. Hurd has a shot blocked by Schreck. And then a foul is called against Gavin Wildermuth. That'll be the 17th foul on Capital, as now Adrian will enter the 1-1. Wildermuth was wanting a jump ball, but that was a foul in the estimation of our officials. So now Trayshawn Hurd, the 6-foot junior from Lafayette, Indiana, went to McCutcheon High School. He will now be shooting the 1-1. Shot is up, and it is no good. No second free throw for Hurd since he missed the first. And Capital gets the rebound once again. 14-3 lead for Capital. 11-10 remaining in the first half. Abel, top of the arc. Over to Wildermuth, in the corner. They go inside to G, and a reach-in foul is now going to be called. Looks like against Kylon Giroux. Caleb Cox, it looks like, is getting set to check back into the game for Capital, and that he does as take the place of Reed Bradfield out on the floor. Bradfield providing some very good minutes for Capital. Meantime, another substitution for the Crusaders is now Ryan Christie. Freshman guard out of Toledo comes into the game. Schreck will get it into Wildermuth. Now it's back to Schreck. Schreck with a pass off the hands of G. Yahaya, and that'll be a turnover for Capital. So far in the night, Capital with only 5 turnovers, same number as Adrian. The main difference for Capital here tonight has been their shooting. They're shooting 43% from the field. Meanwhile, Adrian 1 of 11 from the field. That's not going to help matters for the Bulldogs right there, as an offensive foul is now going to be called against Giovanni DeBari, the freshman guard out of Italy. Checking back in for Capital now was Will Hanna, as he'll take the spot of Yahaya out there on the floor. It's an 11-point lead for Capital. 10:50 to go here in the first half, and boy, the way that Adrian has been shooting the ball so far tonight, if Capital can go on a little bit of a run here, boy, they can put the Bulldogs in a really big hole. Passed on over to Schreck on the right wing. 16 on the shot clock for Capital. Cox now trying to dribble through traffic. Back out to Wildermuth. Cox calling for the ball, but instead they will swing it around to Hanna to the right wing. 7 on the shot clock. Hanna for 3. That's an air ball, but Cox is able to grab the loose ball. Unfortunately, couldn't maintain possession right there as he bounced it out of bounds. And now the Bulldogs will get the ball back. 10:24 remaining in the first half. Capital 14, Adrian 3. Caleb Ballantyne, 6'1" freshman from Butler, Indiana, will get the ball back in. Trayshawn Hurd on the left wing, passing over to Kalanji. Kalanji for 3. And that's good. Kalanji can hit those shots. And finally, Adrian is able to break a long drought. That is only their second bucket of the entire game. Wildermuth for three. That's no good. Tap back out to Wildermuth. Inside to Cox. Back outside. Schreck for three. Bullseye. Schreck able to knock it down from the right wing. Good response right there for Capital. I'll take your three and raise you another three as Capital gets this lead back up to 11, 17-6. 9:40 remaining in the first half. A jumper off the mark for Kalanji. And now a foul will be called against Adrian's Caleb Ballantyne. That'll be the 15th foul on Adrian. Checking back into the game for the Bulldogs is Sam Colbert. Hanna will inbound it, and he will get it into Ryan Christie. Capital so far shooting 41% from the field, 3 of 8 from three-point range, good for about 38%. Leading scorer for Capital so far is Joey Weingartner. He's got 8. Christie, meanwhile, looking for someone to pass the ball to. Finally gets it in the hands of Hanna, who's trying to post up Harris. Does so. Back outside to Christie for 3. That is no good. Ball tipped up in the air, and then finally Jordan Harris is able to grab it for Adrian College. Harris down the lane. Loses the ball out of bounds. And looks as though that went off the hands of Christie that time as he was trying to make a play on the ball. So the Bulldogs will maintain possession with 22 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Meanwhile, Weingartner, Capital's leading scorer in this game, comes back onto the floor. Trigger man will be Sam Colbert. Colbert still looking to get it in. And almost a tip by Will Hanna that time. Trayshawn Hurd retrieves the ball for the Bulldogs as now they'll go into the half-court set. Hurd back outside to Harris. Harris lets loose a 3, and he knocks it down from the left wing. All of a sudden, Adrian might be heating up here a little bit. He had a long drought for much of the first part of this first half, but now a couple of threes might have them back in the ballgame. That cuts the Capital lead to 8, 17-9 in favor of the Crusaders. Christie now dribbling around near the right wing as we approach 8.5 to play in our first half. Three-pointer on the way for Weingartner. That is good. And that definitely did not make head coach Kyle Lindsey all that happy. He was furious that Joey Weingartner was left that wide open in the corner. That's now 11 points for Weingartner so far in the night. Step back 3 for Harris. That's no good, and Christie grabs the rebound for Capital. He'll now bring it across the timeline as Capital will look to initiate the offense in the half court. Cox over to Weingartner. Joey for 3. That's no good. And the rebound is taken by Trayshawn Hurd. Hurd across half court. Hurd looking to push over into the corner. Oganowski for 3. No good. Cox with a strong rebound and a very nice box out as well. Kashawn Wyatt Morris. Weingartner inside. Hanna back outside. Schreck for 3. That is no good. And the rebound is taken by Wyatt Morris, the junior from Ypsilanti, Michigan. Now Hurd will slow things up a little bit for the Bulldogs. Capital 20, Adrian 9, 7:32 remaining in the first half. Sam Colbert. Now over to Oganowski. Back over to Hurd for 3. That is good. And the three-pointers are starting to fall here a little bit for Adrian. Time for a timeout for head coach Damon Goodwin. We will pause as well. 7:21 remaining in the first half. Capital 20, Adrian 12. Here on your home for Crusaders men's basketball, the Capital Sports Network.
This is a message for the nurses among us. For those who dream of saving lives. For those who are driven to improve care. And for those ready to help heal what's broken, be it a single bone fracture or an entire hospital system. Capital University's advanced nursing programs are built for you. Engaged faculty, immersive learning, and intimate classes where you'll know everyone's name. To learn more, visit capital.edu/nursing. Advanced nursing at Capital University, for those driven to do more.
Back here at the Capital Center, 7:21 remaining in the first half. It is Capital 20, Adrian 12. This is a presentation of Crusaders men's basketball here on the Capital Sports Network. Ryan Christie brings it across half court for the Crusaders, who have so far shot 38% from the field. Weingartner on the right wing. Over to Hanna. And now Hanna, it looks like he's going to get fouled by Jordan Harris. That'll be the 16th foul on the Bulldogs. One more foul on Adrian, and Capital will find itself in the 1-1. Meanwhile, Ryan Christie will check out. Back in is Dan Auble. Ball inbounded to Hanna. Now back in the hands of Auble. 16 on the shot clock for Capital. Hanna trying to get it inside to Cox. Back over to Cox. And now an offensive charge is going to be called against Hanna. Taking the charge that time was Jordan Harris. As Hanna was trying to get it over to Cox for a possible jump shot opportunity. But that was all for naught. That will now be the 18th foul on Capital. With that charge going against Hanna. Checking back in for Adrian is Jeremy Kalanji. Largest lead of the game for Capital has been 11, but the Bulldogs are still hanging around a little bit. The Bulldogs, by the way, have yet to have a lead in this game at all. Coming back in for Capital now is Gavin Wildermuth. Checking out is Austin Schreck. He'll get a breather, get a chance to drink some water and all that good stuff before coming back in. Trayshawn Hurd, meanwhile, will bring it across half court. He'll pass off to Sam Colbert. Colbert looking for some help. He'll finally pass it off to Kalanji. Kalanji will drive against Cox. Spin move, and the tough shot is made by Kalanji. Going up against the 6'7" Cox, Kalanji was able to get that one to go. Inside to G, and he misses the layup, but his putback, that's no good as well. And the rebound is taken by Jordan Harris. Well, the Sun Capital's gone a little cold from the field, and it's allowed Adrian to slowly but surely creep its way back into this game. Kalanji, meanwhile, driving, shot rejected by Caleb Cox. Cox up ahead to Auble. Dan out to Weingartner. Joey knocks it down from the right wing. 14 points here in this first half for Joey Weingartner as the lead increases to 9 for Capital. Boy, Weingartner now 4 of 7 from downtown. Over to Trayshawn Hurd. Hurd down the lane. Ball tipped. Finds its way into the hands of Harris. 10 on the shot clock for the Bulldogs. Now it's over to Hurd. Hurd skip past to Colbert for 3. And it's no good. It's good. Capital 23. Adrian 17. The Bulldogs have kept themselves in this game thanks to three-point shooting that has come alive as of late. But looky here, Joey Weingartner, some type of story he is writing here in this first half. 17 points for Weingartner now. 5 of 8 from downtown. Mercy. Colbert being guarded by Auble as we approach 5 minutes to play in the first half. Capital 26, Adrian 17. Three-pointer on the way. No good. Missed by Harris, and the rebound taken by Giahaya. Passed over to Auble. Now to G. Wildermuth on the left wing. Wildermuth going over his options. Back over to Cox. Cox. Back to Wildermuth. Layup no good. Another wild shot, but Wildermuth got hit en route to attempting that shot. So now he will head to the foul line. 4:37 left to play in the first half. Capital 26, Adrian 17. Gavin Wildermuth shooting a perfect 1 of 1 from the free throw line, at least coming into this game. Making his first. Now checking in for Adrian. Kaz Aganoski, or Cass Aganoski, excuse me. Shot is up, no good. Rebound taken by Reed Bradfield. He's able to get an offensive possession. Weingartner for 3. That's a little bit of a heat check right there. Cox with the offensive board. Back to Bradfield. That's no good. Out of bounds. They give it to the Bulldogs. So it's a 10-point lead for Capital, 27-17. In favor of the Crusaders, 4:26 remaining in the first half. Trayshawn Hurd will bring it across half court. Now over to Sam Colbert. Cass Oganowski. Swung all the way around to Jordan Harris. Harris swoops in, and he misses the layup. Nice defense by Cox, protecting the rim that time. Up ahead to Auble. Auble over to Weingartner inside. Cox up and in. Count the bucket and a foul. Cox did that early and often against Ohio Wesleyan on Sunday, getting those and one opportunities. He was a perfect 11 of 11 from the foul line on that win over the Bishops. And now for the first time tonight, he gets a chance to complete his first three-point play of the evening. So give Cox, let's see here. That was his first bucket, actually. Actually give him 4 points on the evening, 5 rebounds as well. 30-17 lead for Capital. Under 4 minutes to play in the first half. Trying to post up is Kalanji. Turnaround J is good. Kalanji's got a nice game to him as he now ups his scoring total to 9. 30-19 in favor of Capital, who looks to finish this, what has been a solid first half, on a good note. Don't want to let this Adrian team back in it. Abel, pass inside, out of bounds, and after it pinballs up against a lot of Bulldog players, they will give it to Capital. 14 seconds remain on the shot clock as Wildermuth will be the trigger man under the basket. They'll inbound to the Cox, who will make the catch cleanly. Over to Bradfield. Back inside to Cox. Outside, Abel for 3. No good. And the ball tipped around before finally being garnered by Jordan Harris. He'll now push it up ahead to Kalanji. Kalanji, spin move, down the lane, batted away by Bradfield. Abel now up ahead. Wildermuth finishes at the other end. Great defense leading to even better offense for the Crusaders that time. 32-19 in favor of Capital. 3 minutes to play in the first half. Trayshawn Hurd over to Dantes Rayner. And now a foul will be called against Reed Bradfield. That will now be the 9th team foul on Capital. That will go down as a blocking foul. As Caleb Ballantyne will come in for Adrian. Taking a seat is Jordan Harris, who for a 20-point scorer has had a pretty quiet first half so far. Only 4 points to go along with 4 rebounds. Meanwhile, the foul shot is up and no good for Dantes Rayner. Adrian now 1 of 6 from the charity stripe. Abel, excuse me. Over to Wildermuth. Bounce on over to Cox. Cox back out to Wildermuth for 3. That's no good. And the rebound is taken by Jeremy Kalanji. Over to Hurd, who's running the point. Looking to give it off to somebody, anybody. And now he'll finally hand off to Oganowski. Cass Oganowski near the top of the arc, being guarded by Bradfield. 13 on the shot clock. Kalanji, left wing, trying to drive, cut off. 8 on the shot clock. Twisting, turning is Ballantyne. Ballantyne passing it off, and Oganowski's able to get it off the glass and in. 11-point lead now for Capital, 32-21. 2 minutes left to play in our first half. Abel, top of the arc. Trying to find someone offensively. Now gets it over to Wildermuth. Bradfield, long J. That's no good. Actually, that might have been more of a pass, at least the way it looked at first, as he was trying to get it into Cox. Out of bounds. It looks as though they are going to give it to Adrian. Not before a couple substitutions as Jordan Harris and Sam Colbert check in for Adrian. Actually, my mistake. They are going to keep it with Capital. 9 seconds remain on the shot clock. Another substitution. Ryan Christie comes in. Dan Abel will now check out for Capital. So Christie will inbound it right in front of the Bulldogs bench. Minute 46 remaining in the first half. Capital looking to add to its 11-point lead here. Christie gets it into Weingartner, who's had quite the first half. 17 points. Weingartner for 3. That's off front rim. That's no good. Tipped up and is corralled by Kalanji of Adrian. So the Bulldogs are now back with it. Save Colbert. Top of the arc. Pass on over to Hurd. Hurd, deep 3. That is no good, and the rebound is taken by G. Yahaya. Christie, cross half court. Near the left wing, back over to G. Yahaya. Swung around to Schreck. Schreck trying to get it inside to Yahaya. And now a foul is going to be called, looks like against Jordan Harris. That'll be the 19th foul on the Bulldogs. We've seen quite our share of fouls so far in this game, but not a lot of free throws to speak of for Capital. To this point, Capital only 2 of 3 from the foul line. So now Yahaya will step to the foul line. And G so far on the year, 4 of 5 from the cherry stripe. He's off the mark there, so now make it 4 of 6 as he misses the front end of a 1-and-1. Adrian back with the ball. 1:06 remaining in the first half. Capital 32, Adrian 21. Colbert trying to drive, but cut off defensively by Weingartner. Now over to Harris. Harris being guarded by Schreck. Harris, he'll drive. He'll split 2 defenders and score. That was a very impressive drive by the sophomore from Indianapolis, Indiana, Jordan Harris. Weingartner trying to get it inside to Cox, but it's tipped away by Kalanji. A turnover for Capital. And a tough shot there by Harris. He misses, but he got fouled, so now he'll head to the free throw line, and maybe this is a start of Harris starting to heat up a little bit. We talked about how this young man was averaging 20 points per game coming into play tonight, and so far he's got 6 points on 2 of 5 shooting from the field, 1 of 3 from three-point range. So now he's going to be making his second trip to the free throw line. Looking to draw his Bulldogs a little closer here, and he misses the first foul shot. One more free throw upcoming for Harris, but not before another substitution for Adrian as Caleb Ballantyne checks back in for the Bulldogs. Harris, a right-handed shooter. Shot is up, and it is no good. He missed both free throws. Missed opportunity there for the Bulldogs to try to chip away at this Capital lead. About a 10-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock now for Capital as Christie still handling the ball for the Crusaders, being guarded by Trayshawn Hurd. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Christie will now try to initiate the offense. Loses the ball, out of bounds, and that will give the ball back to the Bulldogs. Shot clock will now be turned off. 16.5 seconds remain in the first half. One last offensive opportunity, you would think, for Adrian. Kashawn Wyatt-Morris will get it into Jordan Harris, and you will bet that Harris will play a big part in this last shot. 8 seconds, 7 seconds. Harris almost lost the ball that time. And Sam Colbert, he stepped out of bounds on the far side, so now Capital will get the ball back with 6.4 seconds to play here in the first half. Man, that was a gift right there for the Crusaders. So now Schreck will inbound the ball from the far side. Will Hanna will check back in for Giahaya. Cam Caldwell will come back in. It's Weingartner, Cox, Hanna, Schreck, and Caldwell out there on the floor for the Crusaders. Caldwell gets the ball. Quickly gets it past half court. 2 seconds. 1 second. Caldwell will not be able to get the shot off in time. That's a disappointing end to the first half for Capital. But the good news is Capital will go into the locker room sporting a 9-point lead over Adrian. Your first half score, Capital 32, Adrian 23. Stay tuned. We will have for you coming up here in mere moments, the Rusty Bucket Halftime Show. We'll take a look at scores around the Ohio Athletic Conference. We'll examine the halftime stats and much more. Rusty Bucket Halftime Show coming up here on your home for Crusaders men's basketball, the Capital Sports Network.
I wanted to fly. They said I couldn't. So I built a plane, then a spaceship, then I went to the moon. I invented jazz, hip-hop, rock and roll. Some called it noise. I said it was music. I wrote a letter and sent it by ponies. It didn't get to you fast enough, so I used trucks and ships. But still, they weren't fast enough for me. So I lost the paper and the ink. I sent it by magic. I called it email. I made up new words: jukebox, bling, Google. And I decided some old words weren't okay to say ever again. The mustache. I tried to bring that back 17 times. I wore knickerbockers and shoulder pads, poodle skirts and flannel. When I came back from World War II, all I had was a t-shirt. So I made that cool. In fact, I invented cool. Who am I? I'm the spirit of youth. It's my job to move the world forward. Pepsi. Every generation refreshes the world.
Just as fresh as its pizza, Donato's is fresh off of its 50th anniversary and still serving the Columbus area with pride. Now introducing online ordering, Donato's Pizza is ready for your order at any time from anywhere. Donato's also features a gluten-free menu and will even cater your next big event. Donato's Pizza in Bexley is located at 2800 East Main Street and is available by phone at 614-235-4477. Donato's Pizza, proud supporter of Capital Crusader Athletics.
It's the perfect sports bar because it's not just a sports bar.
I'm Gary Calico, founder and president of Rusty Bucket. A lot of families build their sports world around the bucket.
It's not just a guy's night out. You can bring your wife, you can bring your kids.
We get a lot of groups in after games.
Great place after the game.
Kids love to come here.
The Rusty Bucket Restaurant and Tavern.
The Rusty Bucket is a proud supporter of the Capital Crusaders. Visit us after the game at 2158 East Main Street and grab life by the bucket.
Welcome into the Rusty Bucket halftime show. At the half, it is Capital who leads Adrian by a score of 32-23. I'm Charlie Danis. Before we take a look at tonight's halftime stats, let's go ahead and get you updated with games around the Ohio Athletic Conference. Plenty of games involving teams from the OAC this evening. And let's see here. At the half, it is Thomas More who leads Ohio Northern by a score of 31-26. Otterbein is also in action tonight. They are playing host to the Big Red of Denison out of the North Coast Athletic Conference, and they're at the half as well. Otterbein leading Denison in that one 37-29. Another game that is in progress on this Wednesday evening, November 28th of 2018, involves Wilmington. The Quakers, they are at Earlham tonight as they try to grab another win early on here in the 2018-2019 campaign. And so far tonight, the Quakers have been having an interesting time, I'd probably say, with Earlham. And it is Wilmington who is up by a score. Let's see here. They are up by 10 against Earlham at the moment as they are nearing the conclusion of the first half in that one. Coming up later on tonight, by the way, in about 15 minutes or so, Marietta will be playing host to Wittenberg. Another matchup pitting teams from the Ohio Athletic Conference as well as the North Coast Athletic Conference. Let's go ahead and take a look at tonight's halftime stats. These are brought to you by Plank's Cafe and Pizzeria. Let's go ahead and start with the team statistics. Capital shooting 36% from the field. Adrian, meanwhile, shooting only 35% from the field. And the three-pointers have played a role in this game. On one hand, it has allowed Capital to get this lead. They had a big lead as much as 13 in the first half. A first half in which Adrian never had a single lead. Capital shooting 6 of 18 from downtown. Adrian, meanwhile, shooting 4 of 10 from three-point range. And those 4 three-pointers, they basically kept Adrian in the game. If the Bulldogs don't make those shots, this is a much wider margin for Capital at this point. Free throws, not a lot to speak of for both teams. Capital only 2 of 4 from the charity stripe. Meanwhile, Adrian 1 of 8 from the free throw line. Capital does have a big advantage when it comes to rebounding the basketball. Capital has out-rebounded Adrian tonight by a margin of 28-16. Capital with 10 turnovers, Adrian with 8 turnovers as well. And again, Capital has held the lead the entire time, leading by as much as 13. That was back at the 4:03 mark of the first half. Adrian has yet to see their first lead of this game. We'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll take a look at the individual statistics that really stood out and name tonight's halftime hero. We'll have more of the Rusty Bucket halftime show coming up in just a moment.
New vehicles, reliable pre-owned vehicles, top-notch, high-quality service technicians, and friendly, trustworthy sales associates dedicated to customer service. Byers Airport Subaru in Columbus is ready to get you into the vehicle that you were meant for. Stop by to see our selection at 401 North Hamilton Road in Columbus and take a test drive, or call Byers Airport Subaru at 877-265-9695 today. Byers Airport Subaru is a proud supporter of Crusader Athletics. Subaru, confidence in motion.
Dill's Greenhouse is a local family business dedicated to offering the best shopping experience and honest prices for your gardening needs. If you're in need of annuals, perennials, vegetable plants, or any variety of gardening tools and resources, Dill's Greenhouse is more than happy to get you on the right path. Dill's Greenhouse is located at 5800 Rager Road in Groveport, Ohio, and is open 7 days a week. Visit them online for more information at dillsgreenhouse.net. Dill's Greenhouse. Only nature does it better. OSU Sports Medicine is a proud supporter of Crusader student-athletes by providing sports health services for Capital University athletics and student health services. Through the work and care of team physicians and athletic trainers, it's the team behind your team. For all fans, if you're looking to improve your physical performance, recover from an injury, or stay active for a lifetime, the experts at Ohio State Sports Medicine are there for you. Visit sportsmedicine.osu.edu or call 366-4332.
Welcome back to the Rusty Bucket Halftime Show. At the half, Capital with a 32-23 lead over the Adrian College Bulldogs. Let's go ahead and continue to examine tonight's halftime stats. These are brought to you by Planks Cafe. We examine the team stats. Let's go over the individual statistics from that first half. First, for Adrian, Jeremy Kalanji had 9 points for the Bulldogs to go along with 2 rebounds, 6 points for Jordan Harris, 3 points for Treshawn Hurd, 3 points for Sam Colbert, and 2 points for Cass Oganowski. And that's it when it comes to scoring the basketball for the Bulldogs this evening. Big surprise has been Jordan Harris so far, a young man that came in averaging 20 points per game. And he had a relatively quiet first half. 6 points, 4 rebounds, only 1 of 3 from three-point range, and 2 of 5 from the field. Capital will hope to keep that young man in check during the second half. Meanwhile, for Capital, let's go ahead and start with our halftime hero. This is brought to you by Two Men and a Truck Moving Company. We begin with Joey Weingartner. Boy, what a first half it was for the senior from Centerville, Ohio. 6 of 12 from the field, 5 of 10 from three-point range, 2 rebounds. Oh, by the way, 17 points. Weingartner with a sensational first half as he was able to carry Capital offensively with all those shots that he made from three-point range. Joey Weingartner, tonight's halftime hero. Other scorers tonight for Capital. Will Hanna with 2 points. 3 points each for Caleb Cox and Austin Schreck. Cox, by the way, also has 6 rebounds on the night. 4 points and 4 rebounds for Reed Bradfield, and 3 points for Gavin Wildermuth. And that's it from a scoring standpoint for Capital. We will have more of the Rusty Bucket Halftime Show coming up in mere moments. This is your home for Crusaders men's basketball, the Capital Sports Network.
When looking for great food at low price, be sure to visit Peking Dynasty on the corner of Livingston and Sheridan right near the Capital University campus. Peking Dynasty has a large selection of Chinese food and sushi, along with great tasting chicken and beef selections that can please any appetite. In addition, Capital University students receive discounts with a valid ID any day of the week. That's Peking Dynasty on the corner of Livingston and Sheridan right near the Capital campus, where we are proud to say, Go Cap.
With 14 TVs to watch your favorite team for the next big event, Planks Cafe and Pizzeria in German Village is ready for you and your group today. Plenty of free parking, free Wi-Fi, banquet rooms for private parties, and daily specials. What more reason do you need to visit Planks Cafe and Pizzeria? Planks is located at 743 Parsons Avenue and has been serving the Columbus community since 1939. Planks is on the web at plankscafe.com or available by phone at 614-443-6251. Planks Cafe and Pizzeria is a proud supporter of Crusader Athletics.
This is a message for the nurses among us, for those who dream of saving lives, for those who are driven to improve care, and for those ready to help heal what's broken, be it a single bone fracture or an entire hospital system. Capital University's advanced nursing programs are built for you. Engaged faculty, immersive learning, and intimate classes where you'll know everyone's name. To learn more, visit capital.edu/nursing. Advanced nursing at Capital University, for those driven to do more.
Welcome back to the Rusty Bucket Halftime Show. It's now time to revisit our keys to the game. This is brought to you by the Marriott Columbus Airport. Well, I had a couple keys in the pregame show tonight as Capital looks to improve to 3-2, get to 500. The first key was to get Caleb Cox involved early and often in this game. And so far, Cox has had a pretty quiet night offensively, only 3 points. He does have 6 rebounds, but hopefully Capital can open up some more offensive opportunities for him on the inside. The second key of the night was to limit Jordan Harris. And so far, Capital's been able to do a nice job of that. Harris averaging 20 points per game coming into tonight's action. And he has only been able to accumulate 6 points offensively, 2 of 6 from the field, 1 of 4 from three-point range. Keep that going, and Capital will be looking really good. The team ball, the number of scores for Capital. Well, other than Joey Weingartner, who's got 17, the next highest scorer is Reed Bradfield, who's got 4 points. Somebody other than Weingartner has got to be able to pick up the slack offensively, because at some point Weingartner is going to get cold from the field. That's what tends to happen with rhythm jump shooters who have to get up a lot of shots, volume shooters that have to hoist a lot of shots in order for their offense to keep going. So hopefully Capital can find a solid number 2, a solid number 3 option offensively there in that second half. And then finally, the fourth key that I had for tonight's game was Cameron Caldwell. And I talked about how Caldwell had to get going from an offensive standpoint and also try to get more and more people involved. Well, Cam Caldwell was hit with 2 fouls early on in this game. He had to sit for much of the first half. Didn't register a single assist in that first half. If Caldwell can get things going from an assist standpoint, that will really bode well for Capital as they try to get a win here tonight against the Bulldogs. Coming out of halftime, Capital 32, Adrian 23. Quick break. When we come back, we'll have second half action from the Capital Center. You're listening to Crusaders men's basketball here on the Capital Sports Network.
I wanted to fly. They said I couldn't. So I built a plane, then a spaceship, then I went to the moon. I invented jazz, hip-hop, rock and roll. Some called it noise. I said it was music. I wrote a letter and sent it by ponies. It didn't get to you fast enough, so I used trucks and ships. But still, they weren't fast enough for me. So I lost the paper and the ink. I sent it by magic. I called it email. I made up new words: jukebox, bling, Google. And I decided some old words weren't okay to say ever again. The mustache. I tried to bring that back 17 times. I wore knickerbockers and shoulder pads, poodle skirts, and flannel. When I came back from World War II, all I had was a t-shirt. So I made that cool. In fact, I invented cool. Who am I? I'm the spirit of youth. It's my job to move the world forward. Pepsi. Every generation refreshes the world.
Welcome back to the Capital Center. Second half action just about to get underway. Coming out of halftime, Capital 32, Adrian 23. I'm Charlie Danis. So glad that you could join us for this presentation of Crusaders men's basketball here on the Capital Sports Network as Capital looks to improve to 3-2 on the young season. Looking to keep a highly talented offensive Bulldog team in check. And Dan Abel will begin at point guard to begin the second half. It was Cam Caldwell who originally got the start at point guard, but it's Abel out there with Cox, Hanna, Schreck, and Weingartner. Schreck will now swing it all the way around to Weingartner, who had 17 points in that first half. Hopefully he can keep that good offensive performance going. Schreck on the left wing. Over to Hanna. Hanna, step back three. No good. Rebound is taken by Adrian as Colbert grabs the rebound. He'll quickly push it ahead to Giroux. Giroux back outside. Three, no good for Kalanji. And the rebound is taken by Schreck. Schreck over to Weingartner. Joey for three. Joey knocks it down from near the top of the arc. 20 points now for Weingartner. That is now his sixth made three of the night. He has got it going on from downtown. 12-point lead now for Capital, 35-23. 19:02 remaining in the second half. And the drive and the layup is good by Kylon Giroux. 10-point lead now for Capital. Cox, top of the arc, now over to Schreck. Schreck now over to Weingartner. Back over to Abel on the right wing. Abel trying to drive. Jumper for Schreck. No good. Rebound taken by Trayshawn Hurd. Hurd quickly across the timeline. Over the left wing, guarded by Dan Auble. Now they go inside. And a nice job that time by Colbert of getting Cox up into the air. Nice shot fake by Colbert. That results in 2. The Capital lead is down to 8. And then a tough drive on the inside by Austin Schreck. Nice answer by the senior on the other end as the Capital leads now back up to 10. 18:09 remaining in the second half. Colbert near the top of the arc. Gets a screen from Kalanji. Does nothing with it, however, as now Harris will drive on in. And the layup is no good. Cox grabs the rebound for Capital. Up ahead to Auble. To Schreck. Three-pointer. That rattles in and out. Hanna had an offensive board. Lost it out of bounds, but it went off the fingertips of a Bulldog player. So it'll remain Capital basketball. 17:48 remain in the second half. It is Capital 37, Adrian 27. Definitely a much lower scoring affair than I thought between these two teams as Hanna gets the bucket to go. Count the bucket and a foul. I tell you what, Will Hanna, more than any other player over the last few years, has seen his offensive game really blossom, really improve. The jumper is better. The overall strength is better. He's asked to bang with big bodies on the inside. Thought initially that he would just be that type of guy that would be guarding the guards, being out there on the perimeter. But no, this kid has got some real toughness to him as he knocks down the free throw to complete the three-point play. Capital 40, Adrian 27, 17:38 remaining in the second half. Colbert passing it over to Hurd. Actually, excuse me, that was Giroux. Missed the shot, and another rebound taken by Capital. And a miscommunication right there. Chasing after the ball is Colbert. Colbert keeps it in bounds. Jacks up a three. That's no good. And then the offensive putback is good for Kalanji. A very frustrating sequence right there for Capital as the pass soared over everybody's head, and then nobody boxed out after the miss by Kalanji. No matter, Capital still up by 11. 17:03 remaining in the second half. Schreck passing it off to Auble. Auble over to Hanna. Will trying to clear some space for himself. Weingartner has his pocket picked, but then Cox gets the ball back. And then Weingartner trying to get the ball back. After it hits up against the scoreboard table, they will give it back to Capital. A wild sequence of events right there. 16:49 remaining in the second half, excuse me. And Capital still leading Adrian 40-29. Auble will inbound it. Sitting right next to Damon Goodwin in his 24th season as head coach at Capital. And now after a little bit of a discussion, heading to the bench for Adrian is Sam Colbert. Checking back in is Jordan Harris. At least it looks like Jordan Harris will be checking in. There's still some discussion going on between our referees and the scorer's table. Taking a sip of water is Colbert on the bench. Well, Adrian is going to need a fifth player out there at some point. Now everybody's trying to wonder here, what's the holdup? Okay, it looks as though that Colbert is getting some medical attention as he's favoring that left hand of his. Now coming into the ball game for Adrian is Dantes Rayner, the freshman from Indianapolis, Indiana. So that is why Colbert came out to begin with. Now the action resumes. Weingartner jacks up another three, and he knocks it down. Boy, it has been the Joey Weingartner show here tonight at the Capitol Center. 23 points for the senior from Centerville, Ohio. The seventh made three tonight. Dantes Rayner over to Hurd. Over to Kalanji. Kalanji over to Rayner. The jumper no good. The tough layup, that's no good for Hurd. And then Schreck is able to dig out the loose ball. But then as he tried to throw the ball back in, it hit the bottom of the backboard on the side where the end line was, which means that ball was out of bounds. Ball will go back to Adrian. Nice job by Schreck trying to save the ball that time, but that was just an unlucky bounce right there because the backboard got in the way. Giroux, meanwhile, trying to inbound it, and then a foul is called against Adrian. Looks like Jordan Harris will be hit with a foul. 43-29, Capital with the lead, 16-13 remaining here in the second half. Boy, if Capital could just go on a little bit of an offensive run right here, give themselves some breathing room against the Bulldogs, that would really help their chances down the stretch. Hannah, nice pass inside to Weingartner, who missed the layup. Boy, go figure. He's been hitting everything from three, but he can't finish the layup. Hurd over to Oganowski. Oganowski makes the shot. Count the bucket and a foul over Caleb Cox, who, by the way, is 6'7", who's got a big old wingspan on his person. A spectacular shot that time by Cass Oganowski, a sophomore from Greenwood, Indiana. Now he'll have an opportunity to try to complete the three-point play, and he misses. Boy, free throws have been a tough pill to swallow for Adrian tonight. They're now 1 of 9 from the charity stripe. Weingartner, right wing, three-pointer, and it's good. Anytime he throws up a shot from downtown, chances are it's going in. And the dunk at the other end, emphatically by Kalanji, over Cox as well. Mercy. 46-33 in favor of the Crusaders. 15-15 remaining in the second half. Weingartner passes it inside. Cox, strong bounce pass out of bounds, and they will give the ball to the Bulldogs. Now a couple substitutions. Will Hanna and Dan Abel will check out. Reed Bradfield, who provided some quality minutes off the bench in the first half, he'll check back in along with Cam Caldwell. And also coming to the game, this time for Adrian, Krishan Hurd. Schreck will trigger the play, and he will inbound it successfully to Cox. 9 on the shot clock. Inside, Cox trying to wiggle his way through, and now a foul will be called. The foul will go against Jordan Harris. So now Cox will go to the free throw line. Now, I'm not trying to jinx Cox in any way, shape, or form, but when it comes to free throw shooters, I don't care if you're a guard, forward, center, this guy might be the most automatic player at the charity stripe in the Ohio Athletic Conference. The shot is up, and of course he makes me look bad, missing the first free throw. But just check out the percentage. It's near 90%. One more free throw upcoming for Cox. And that's more like it right there as he knocks it down. 47-33 now. Capital with the lead. 15 minutes left to play in the second half. Spin, layup, and it's good for Kalanji. Boy, Kalanji's had himself a night. 15 points for the junior from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Cox splits two defenders. In with the left hand. Capital 49. Adrian 35. Harris almost had it stolen away by Caldwell. And now a blocking foul will be called against Austin Schreck. So the foul will go against Capital. Second team foul on the Crusaders this half. 3 already for the Bulldogs. A little over 14 and a half to play in the second half. Capital 49, Adrian 35. And you just kind of get the feeling that Capital is slowly but surely starting to pull away in this game. They were up by 15 just a moment ago. That's been their largest lead of the game. And now another foul is going to be called on the floor, as now Cox will be hit with a foul. Damon Goodwin not exactly in love with that call, and I don't blame him. Can't play better defense than that, at least in my opinion. Giroux, meanwhile, has the inbounds pass picked off by Cox. Ahead to Schreck. Schreck not able to make the shot, but Caldwell gets it to go. Count that bucket and a foul. Caldwell providing a little pick-me-up right there after the missed shot by Schreck, and now Cam will have a chance to finish off the three-point play at the foul line. But first, a couple substitutions for Capital, as Gavin Wildermuth and Gia Hyatt check back in for the Crusaders. Schreck, meanwhile, will get a much-deserved breather along with Caleb Cox. And checking back in for Adrian, Kashawn Wyatt Morris, junior forward from Ypsilanti, Michigan. One free throw upcoming here for Caldwell, the native of Westerville. And the shot is up and good. Crusaders 52, Bulldogs 35. This lead is starting to expand more and more and more for Capital as we approach the 14-minute mark here in the second half. Colbert handling the ball now for the Bulldogs. He'll look to penetrate. He'll go down the lane. Nice dropout pass and finish by Kashawn Wyatt Morris. Let's see what Capital will do here for a response. Wildermuth, excuse me. Over to Caldwell. Caldwell inside to Bradfield. Nice pass to G. Not able to convert it at close range, however. He loses the ball. Here comes Giroux the other way for Adrian. Over to Harris. Harris able to finish with the layup. And now a timeout will be taken by the Bulldogs. 13:39 remaining in our second half. Capital 52, Adrian 39. You're listening to Crusaders men's basketball here on the Capital Sports Network.
Dill's Greenhouse is a local family business dedicated to offering the best shopping experience and honest prices for your gardening needs. If you're in need of annuals, perennials, vegetable plants, or any variety of gardening tools and resources, Dill's Greenhouse is more than happy to get you on the right path. Dill's Greenhouse is located at 5800 Rager Road in Groveport, Ohio, and is open 7 days a week. Visit them online for more information at dillsgreenhouse.net. Dill's Greenhouse. Only nature does it better. OSU Sports Medicine is a proud supporter of Crusader student-athletes by providing sports health services for Capital University athletics and student health services. Through the work and care of team physicians and athletic trainers, it's the team behind your team. For all fans, if you're looking to improve your physical performance, recover from an injury, or stay active for a lifetime, the experts at Ohio State Sports Medicine are there for you. Visit sportsmedicine.osu.edu or call 366-4332.
Back here at the Capitol Center, 13:39 remaining in the second half. Capital 52, Adrian 39. A reminder, folks, the rivalry game is right around the corner. Otterbein coming to town, coming up this Saturday, December 1st. Tip-off is scheduled for 1 o'clock. We will get things started with the pregame show beginning at 12:30. Always a fun affair when the two teams from Columbus, Otterbein and Capital, get together with one another. One of the best rivalries that the Ohio Athletic Conference has to offer. Now back to this particular game here on Wednesday night as Hannah going over his options. Out to Wildermuth, shot fake. Back over to Caldwell. Drive. Cam not able to get the shot to go as that hit the bottom of the rim that time. He was trying to reverse layup but comes up short. Harris inside. And now a foul is going to be called on the inside, it looks like against Capital. This will be the 14th foul on the Crusaders. Looks like Bradfield was the one who was hit with the foul. They inbounded to Giroux. Giroux, jump hook is good. 52-41, Capital with the lead. 13 minutes left to play in the second half. Wildermuth over to Hannah. Back over to Caldwell. Bradfield is double teamed. Caldwell drives in, over to Bradfield. Hannah driving in. Tough shot off the glass and in, and a foul. How about Will Hannah? Taking the contact and knowing what to do with it. 7 points. Now to go along with 4 rebounds for the senior from Milford, Ohio. And now he'll look to try to finish off the three-point play. Capitals lead up to 13. Hannah looking to make it an even 14. Shot is up, and it is good. So now make it 8 points on the night for Will Hannah. 12:47 left to play in the second half. Capital 55, Adrian 41. Cass Oganowski into the ball across half court along with Treshawn Hurd. Hurd now looking for some help. He'll pass on over to Sam Colbert. Colbert dribbling to his left. Skips it all the way over to Hurd for 3. That's good. I'll tell you what, these 3-pointers have really kept the Bulldogs in this game. Wildermuth, meanwhile, a blocking foul will be called against Kaz Oganowski. So now Wildermuth will head to the foul line. credit the Crusaders. They have not gone to the foul line all that much tonight, but they made the most of their shots at the charity stripe, going 6 of 9 at the free throw line. So now Wildermuth will look to add to that total right here. Shot is up, and that is no good. One more upcoming here for Wildermuth, a senior from Jackson Center, Ohio. Austin Schreck will now check in, and Joey Weingartner, who's had a great game to this point, 26 points, 9 of 16 from the field, 8 of 13 from beyond the arc, gets a much-deserved breather on the bench. One more substitution for you is Jeremy Kalanji, who's got 15 points in this game for Adrian this evening. He returns back to the floor. Wildermuth, shot is up. That's no good, and the rebound is taken by Giroux. Capital up by 11 as we approach 12 minutes left to play in our second half. Treshawn Hurd over to Giroux. Giroux will now bounce it over to Oganoski. Back to Hurd. Hurd, who's been hot from 3. He'll dribble on in. Now a shot from the perimeter. That is no good by Giroux, and the rebound is taken by Austin Schreck. Capital will now look to calm things down here a little bit offensively. The question for Capital now, with Weingartner off the floor, who's going to step up on the offensive side? Hanna trying to drive on in, splits 2 defenders, and a foul is going to be called on the floor. Looks like against Kalanji. And now it will be looks like it's going to be the 1-and-1 for Capital going forward. So that'll be the 7th team foul on the Bulldogs. So Hanna once again has an opportunity to reach double figures in scoring. So far on the season, Hanna has been averaging just under 12 points a game. Shot is up, and that is good. So Hanna will treat himself to one more attempt at the foul line after making the front end of the 1-and-1. Hanna will now bounce the ball a couple times. Shot is up. It is good. 10 points on the night for Will Hanna. Mr. Steady keeps on doing his thing for this Crusader squad. Kalanji trying to drive in. Gets fouled. Foul will go against Reed Bradfield. Seen a lot of fouls called in this game. As Cox will now check in for Capital. Bradfield will check out. Cox back in. Ball thrown in to Kalanji. Kalanji will now pass off to Wyatt Morris. Over to Cheney now. Or Colbert, excuse me. Colbert top of the arc, and he got tripped. Trying to dribble around Caldwell that time. Cam hit with another foul. And you can just tell by Cam's body language a little bit that he's had a very frustrating night. No points, 3 points for Cam. 2 rebounds, no assists, however, for the point guard. And now Cam will check out. Dan Auble will check back in for Capital. Crusaders 57, Bulldogs 44. Cox guarding Wyatt Morris. Now back over to Colbert. Colbert almost lost the ball, but regains possession. 8 on the shot clock for the Bulldogs. Colbert, 3, no good. Rebound taken by Auble. Auble will now look to push. Back over to Schreck. Schreck drives on in, can't finish the layup, and the rebound is taken by Kashawn Wyatt Morris. Still a 13-point lead for Capital as we tick under 11 minutes to play in regulation. 3-point jumper is good for Kalanji. The lead now is 11 for Capital. Auble across half court. Over to Wildermuth. Over to Schreck now. Inside to Cox. Cox trying to back his man down. Back outside. 3-pointer, no good for Hanna. And the rebound is taken by Treshawn Hurd. Hurd trying to dribble inside. Off the glass and in. Nice drive that time by Hurd. And now the Capital lead is down to 9. 57-48. 10:03 remaining in regulation. Auble being guarded by Colbert. Over to Cox. Back to Wildermuth now. Wildermuth inside. Cox gets 3 and scores. Capital 59 and Adrian 48. Cox, by the way, now with 8 points on the night to go along with 9 rebounds. And swatted away by Hannah, but now a foul's going to be called. Boy, that looked like a clean block to me, as he was able to swat that one away from Kylon Giroux. But it is a foul. So now Giroux, the freshman from Fort Wayne, Indiana, he'll now head to the free throw line, which has not exactly been the best friend of the Bulldogs. Although that narrative certainly changed with that shot right there. Bulldogs are now 2 of 10 from the foul line. As Cox will check out. Weingartner, who's been the linchpin offensively, he'll check back in for Capital. He of the 26-point night thus far. One more free throw for Giroux. It's up and it's no good. Schreck, he'll grab another rebound, his 4th of the night. Over to Dan Abel now. Abel will swing it on over to Wildermuth. Wildermuth over to Schreck. Hannah over to Abel. Abel with a kick. Wildermuth. Thought about a 3. Now over to Hannah, and the pass now picked off by Giroux. Ill-advised pass by Hannah that time. Oganowski dribbling around. He's now near the top of the arc, being guarded by Schreck. Over to Kashawn Wyatt Morris. Wyatt Morris inside, and the layup is no good. Jumper in the lane, actually, and Giroux missed it. Abel now ahead. Over to Schreck, who almost lost it, but now he corrals it. Swung around to Abel on the left wing. Dan drops it off. Schreck converts. Capital 61. Adrian 49. 8:34 remaining in the second half now. Sean Wyatt Morris, top of the arc. Passing off to Kalanji. Shot, no good. Rebound taken by Schreck. Up ahead, Wildermuth scores. 8:15 left to play in the second half. Capital 63, Adrian 49. And now a reach-in foul is going to be called against Dan Abel. So now a timeout, it looks like, is called by Adrian. The timeout occurred before the foul. So that will take us to a stoppage in time here. 8:10 remain in the second half. Capital 63, Adrian 49. You're listening to Crusaders men's basketball here on the Capital Sports Network.
Just as fresh as its pizza, Donato's is fresh off of its 50th anniversary and still serving the Columbus area with pride. Now introducing online ordering, Donato's Pizza is ready for your order at any time from anywhere. Donato's also features a gluten-free menu and will even cater your next big event. Donato's Pizza in Bexley is located at 2800 East Main Street and is available by phone at 614-235-4477. Donato's Pizza, proud supporter of Capital Crusader Athletics.
Back here at the Capitol Center, 8:10 remaining in our second half. Crusaders leading the Bulldogs of Adrian, 63-49 in this one. Let's go ahead and get you caught up with other scores around the OAC while we have a moment here. 2:34 left to play in the second half. Ohio Northern in a tight one against Thomas More. Thomas More holding a 1-point lead over the Polar Bears, 59-58 in that one. Meanwhile, 11:48 to go in the second half at Otterbein. Cardinals leading the Big Red of Denison, 59-41 in that affair. Meanwhile, Wilmington and Earlham, still a close game. Wilmington now up by 2 in that one. And finally, Marietta and Wittenberg, they just got started about, say 20 minutes ago or so. And so far, it is a close game as Wittenberg is out to a 3-point lead. So now back to our game as Jordan Harris with a jumper, no good. Abel able to tip that one to himself. Impressive. Up ahead, Wildermuth scores. Well, I tell you what, Gavin Wildermuth is going to be a key player for Capital off that bench. He has really showed it so far this season. Jumper now. That's good for Sam Colbert. Capital 65, Adrian 51. A little over 7.5 to play in regulation as The Crusaders are looking to put the finishing touches on what would be their third victory of the young 2018-2019 campaign. Weingartner, a rare miss from three, and I mean rare. He has been hitting those shots all night long, has Joey Weingartner. Abel, back over to Weingartner. Joey, he'll drive the lane. Finger roll is good. Capital 67, Adrian 51. 28 points for Joey Weingartner. They go inside, and a layup is converted by Jeremy Kalanji. Capital 67, Adrian 53 now. Under 7 minutes to play. Wildermuth to Schreck. Schreck being guarded by Jordan Harris. 18 on the shot clock. Swung around to Abel on the right wing. Dan trying to drive, now back out to Wildermuth. Now over to Schreck. Passed off. Jumper. That is good. It's knocked down by Logan Jessing, the sophomore from Sylvania, Ohio, who just checked in. Capital 69. Adrian 53. As Capital's offense just keeps on humming along. Layup converted on the other end meantime by Treshawn Hurd. Capital shooting 45% from the field. Adrian, who got off to a very cold start this game, they have now shot 45% in this game. Capital 69, Adrian 55. 6:11 remaining in regulation. And now a timeout is going to be taken by Capital. We will pause once again. 6:09 remaining in the second half. Capital 69, Adrian 55 here on the Capital Sports Network.
New vehicles, reliable pre-owned vehicles, top-notch, high-quality service technicians, and friendly, trustworthy sales associates dedicated to customer service. Byers Airport Subaru in Columbus is ready to get you into the vehicle that you were meant for. Stop by to see our selection at 401 North Hamilton Road in Columbus and take a test drive, or call Byers Airport Subaru at 877-265-9695 today. Byers Airport Subaru is a proud supporter of Crusader Athletics. Subaru, confidence in motion.
When looking for great food at low price, be sure to visit Peking Dynasty on the corner of Livingston and Sheridan right near the Capital University campus. Peking Dynasty has a large selection of Chinese food and sushi, along with great tasting chicken and beef selections that can please any appetite. In addition, Capital University students receive discounts with a valid ID any day of the week. That's Peking Dynasty on the corner of Livingston and Sheridan right near the Capital campus, where we are proud to say, Go Cap!
6:09 left to play in the second half. Capital leading Adrian 69-53. This is Crusaders men's basketball on the Capital Sports Network. I'm Charlie Danis, and a pleasant good evening to all of you here on this November 28th of 2018. Boy, pretty soon we will be entering the month of December. Can you believe it? Caldwell initiating the offense for Capital. Swinging it around to Weingartner. Now over to Wildermuth. Now in the hands of Jessing. Jessing will go inside to Schreck. Austin with a long jumper. That is no good, and nearly tipped away by Caldwell, but instead garnered by Colbert. Three-pointer on the way. Hurd knocks it down for Adrian. The Bulldogs are not going away in this game. Their three-point shooting has kept them in this game for much of the night, but still an 11-point edge for Capital here as we tick towards 5.5 to play. Jessing, top of the arc. Swung around, off the hands of Weingartner as he dives into the crowd to try to save that ball in vain. So a turnover now for Capital. That's their 16th of the game. Coming back into the game for Capital is Caleb Cox, as Jessing will take a seat on the bench for Capital. Ball inbounded to Treshawn Hurd, the junior from Lafayette, Indiana. Hurd will bring it across the timeline. He'll pass off to Colbert. Colbert, right wing, over to Hurd. Passing over to Oganowski. And the jumper is no good by Jordan Harris. Rebound taken by Austin Schreck. Schreck will now pass it off to Caldwell. Ball will go out of bounds and it will stay with Capital, with 17 remaining on the shot clock. 4:57 left to play. Capital 69, Adrian 58. Schreck gets it into Cox, who is close to a double-double. 8 points, 9 rebounds for the big man. Weingartner for three. And another three-pointer for Weingartner. 31 points now for Joey Weingartner. That has got to be creeping up close to a career high for Weingartner, who has put on his fair share of shooting exhibitions while donning the purple and white here at Capitol. We'll check those numbers in just a moment. Meantime, Harris trying to drive on in, and now a traveling violation. Well, with the 31 points tonight, Weingartner definitely passes his career high, which was 26. Actually, 28, excuse me. So a new single-game high for Weingartner as he'll put up another three. That's no good. Caldwell with an impressive rebound, but a foul is going to be called against Caldwell. And, boy, that got a bad reaction from the Capitol bench. They call Caldwell for over and back. Boy, Damon Goodwin did not like that call at all. And with that foul going against Caldwell, that will now put Adrian at the foul line in the 1-and-1. So now heading to the free throw line is Jeremy Kalanji. Shot is up, and it's no good. Boy, the free throw shooting in this game for the Bulldogs has been bad. There's just no other way to put it. 2 of 12 from the cherry stripe for Adrian. Weingartner, top of the arc. Over to Caldwell. Now back in the hands of Weingartner. They'll go inside of the big man Cox. Back outside. Wildermuth for three. That's no good, and the rebound is taken by Colbert of Adrian. Colbert ahead to Hurd. Hurd will drive on in. Hurd along the baseline. He's trapped. Gets it back out to Harris. Three-pointer. That's no good. Ball tipped up. And the board is taken by Kalanji. And they were calling for an offensive foul against Kalanji. As now Schreck gathers up the loose ball. He's being asked by Coach Goodwin just to slow it down just a tad. 72-58 lead for Capitol. 3:16 remaining in the second half. Wildermuth around to Schreck. Back in the hands of Weingartner. Now over to Cox. Inside to Schreck. Back to Cox. Nice give and go. Cox gets the foul. Missed the shot, but he'll be heading to the free throw line. Cox with 8 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. Big man from Cincinnati has put up another quality night for the Crusaders as he attempts to get another double-double. Shot is up and good for Cox. Abel will check back in for Capitol. Back in for the Bulldogs is Kylon Giroux. One more free throw attempt for Cox. It is up, and it is good. 10 points on the night for Cox. He becomes the third double-digit scorer behind Weingartner, who's got 31, and Hannah, who's got 10. And the three-pointer on the other end is made by Colbert. Capitol 74, Adrian 61, 2:45 left to play in regulation. 13-point lead for Capitol in all. Weingartner, top of the arc, over to Wildermuth. Now they go inside to Cox. Bounce pass. Schreck. Boy, a lot of contact there. There was a whistle, but it was very late, as Kalanji will be whistled for the foul. And now Schreck will head to the free throw line. Schreck tonight has got 7 points to go along with 7 rebounds, and he's also got 5 assists. So he has been filling up the stat sheet tonight here at the Capitol Center. The senior from Erlanger, Kentucky. 1-and-1 situation, or actually 2-shot foul. And Schreck misses the first free throw. Checking back in is Reed Bradfield, the sophomore from Erlanger, Kentucky. Cox will take a seat. One more free throw attempt for Schreck. It is up and no good. That barely grazed front iron, but Wildermuth is able to get an offensive board. And now Capitol will just simply hold the ball here and grind some clock. The clock is Capitol's friend at this moment. Crusaders sporting a 13-point lead over the Bulldogs. Inside, Wildermuth can't get the shot to go. Boy, that's just bad luck right there as Wildermuth was not able to get the shooter's roll. 2:05 left to play in regulation. Capital 74, Adrian 61. Kalanji will drive. Shot is up. Foul is called. Bradfield is going to be called for that foul as Kalanji will head to the free throw line. Kalanji with 19 points, but none of them have come from the foul line for the 6'5 forward. He is 0 for 3 from the cherry stripe. Shot is up, and that is good. So now he's 1 of 4 from the free throw line. And Kalanji now has an even 20 points on the night. Caldwell will check in. Bradfield will check out for Capital. One more foul shot for Kalanji. It is up. That's no good. And the rebound is not taken by Capital, but then a foul is called against Adrian. (74-62) lead for Capital. Minute 59 remaining in regulation. And now Caldwell will be headed to the free throw line. Both teams in the bonus. Capital will be shooting 2 foul shots the rest of the way, with that being the 10th foul team-wise on Adrian. And the shot is missed by Cam Caldwell. Boy, it's been a frustrating night for Cam. I know that there are going to be better days ahead for the sophomore. Only 3 points on the night for Cam to go along with 2 rebounds. Shot is up and no good as Caldwell misses both free throws. Minute 55 to go. 3-pointer on the way is good. Trayshawn Hurd, he's had himself a good game. He's now got 16. And a timeout's now been taken by the Bulldogs. Let's take a timeout ourselves. A minute 51 remaining in the second half. Capital 74, Adrian 65. You're listening to a presentation of Crusaders men's basketball here on the Capital Sports Network.
It's the perfect sports bar because it's not just a sports bar.
I'm Gary Calico, founder and president of Rusty Bucket. A lot of families build their sports world around the bucket.
It's not just a guy's night out. You can bring your wife, you can bring your kids.
We get a lot of groups in after games.
Great place after the game.
Kids love to come here.
The Rusty Bucket Restaurant and Tavern.
The Rusty Bucket is a proud supporter of the Capital Crusaders. Visit us after the game at 2158 East Main Street and grab life by the bucket.
A minute 51 remaining in the second half. Capital 74, Adrian 65. Want to remind you, folks, that coming up after tonight's game, we will have for you the Byers Airport Subaru post-game show. Take a look at the stats, name our player of the game, take a look at scores around the Ohio Athletic Conference, and much more. The Byers Airport Subaru post-game show coming up after tonight's game. So far on the night, Capital has shot 44% from the field, Adrian 47% from the field, but boy, the big difference tonight has been Joey Weingartner, 31 points, 11 of 20 from the field, 9 of 16 from three-point range. He has established a new career high in points in a single game. So now Capital will get the ball here. And the strategy is pretty simple for Capital. Get the ball in safely, don't turn it over. Make foul shots when you go to the cherry stripe. Capital up by 9. Minute 40 remaining in regulation. Hobble dribbling to his right. Now over to Schreck. Schreck to Cox. Cox will go inside to Hanna, and then a foul is going to be called against Trayshawn Hurd. So that will instantly send Hanna to the foul line. It's been another solid night for Will Hanna. 10 points, 5 rebounds. You might as well start calling this guy Mr. Steady. He will give you double-digit scoring. He will grab key rebounds for you. He will chip in a couple of nice defensive plays. He is the glue guy for this Capital squad. Keeps everything together. As he hits his first foul shot, he's now got 11 points. Cox will check out. Back in will be Cam Caldwell. One more foul shot for Hanna. It is up, and it is good. Gavin Wildermuth will check in. Hanna will check out. Hanna now with 12 points on the evening. Minute 32 remaining in the second half. Capital 76. Adrian 65. Hurd will get it across half court safely. Passing it over to Jordan Harris. Harris will drop it off, and the shot is blocked from behind by Caldwell. Out of bounds, give it to Capital. Kylon Giroux was blindsided that time by Caldwell. Nice defensive play by Cam. And now Cam will take a seat. Checking out will be Caldwell and Wildermuth. Checking back in will be Hanna and Cox. So after some nice defense, the offense will get a little bit of a boost here in the closing minute or so. 11-point lead for Capital, 76-65. Schreck just dribbling around, trying to salt away that clock. A minute to go. Schreck, left wing. Over to Abel for three. Dan not able to knock it down, but it's tipped back to Schreck. Nice hustle play that time by Will Hanna. 40 seconds and counting. Schreck getting it over to Abel. And Adrian will foul. Giroux with the foul against Dan Abel, and now Dan will head to the foul line. Stops the clock with 35.4 seconds to go. Capital 76, Adrian 65. Abel with his first point of the night. Already had 6 assists and 4 rebounds. Hanna and Cox check out. Once again, Wildermuth and Caldwell will check back in. Abel swishes through the second free throw. 78-65 in favor of Capital. Harris quickly across the timeline. Harris over to Kober for three. That's no good. Offensive rebound by Hurd. Tough shot. Gets it to go. Capital 78, Adrian 67. 21.6 seconds remain. They will get it in to Abel, who will pass it back to Wildermuth. Now over to Weingartner. And Weingartner will be fouled by Colbert. So now Joey will head to the free throw line. 16.3 seconds to go. Weingartner has already had a spectacular night. 31 points on 11 of 20 shooting from the field, 9 of 16 from three-point range. His foul shot is up, and it's no good. One more free throw upcoming for Weingartner. Coming in for Capital is Joe Hartman, the sophomore forward from Cincinnati. And Schreck will take a seat. Weingartner is up, and it is good. 32 points for Weingartner. 79-67 lead for Capital. Harris will drive the lane. Shot blocked by Wildermuth. Abel will now dribble it up court. And that will be that. Capital gets its third win of the season, pushes its record to above 500. Your final from the Capital Center. Capital 79, Adrian 67. Stay tuned for the Byers Airport Subaru postgame show as we examine tonight's final stats, name our player of the game, and so much more. Again, your final score here in Bexley. Capital 79, Adrian 67. You've been listening to a presentation of Crusaders men's basketball here on the Capital Sports Network.
This is a message for the nurses among us, for those who dream of saving lives, for those who are driven to improve care, and for those ready to help heal what's broken, be it a single bone fracture or an entire hospital system. Capital University's advanced nursing programs are built for you. Engaged faculty, immersive learning, and intimate classes where you'll know everyone's name. To learn more, visit capital.edu/nursing. Advanced nursing at Capital University, for those driven to do more.
Where will you live your purpose? Not in a refuge from the real world. The university, anchored in the center of Ohio, is at the epicenter of possibility, purpose, and the power of purple. There's no time for hesitation here. No need to put things neatly in their boxes. Just the need to nurture the role you were born for, no matter who you are. We believe that engagement is as important as education, that curiosity is as important as the classroom. And we is purpose.
New vehicles, reliable pre-owned vehicles, top-notch, high-quality service technicians, and friendly, trustworthy sales associates dedicated to customer service. Byers Airport Subaru in Columbus is ready to get you into the vehicle that you were meant for. Stop by to see our selection at 401 North Hamilton Road in Columbus and take a test drive, or call Byers Airport Subaru at 877-265-9695 today. Byers Airport Subaru is a proud supporter of Crusader Athletics. Subaru, confidence in motion.
Welcome into the Byers Airport Subaru postgame show. Tonight, Capital takes care of business. The Crusaders defeat the Bulldogs of Adrian 79-67. Hello again, everyone. I'm Charlie Danis. A good night for the Crusaders as they are able to get yet another win, push their record above the 500 mark to 3-2. Adrian, meanwhile, with the loss tonight, slips to 3-2. Let's go ahead and examine tonight's final stats, brought to you by Planks Cafe. We start with the team statistics. Capital shot 43% from the field. Adrian shot just about 46% from the field tonight. Capital shot 35% from three-point range, 10 of 29 from beyond the arc. Adrian, meanwhile, 8 of 22 from downtown, good for 36%. The free throws were a problem for Adrian. They were only 3 of 14 at the foul line. Capital, meanwhile, shot 15 of 25 from the cherry stripe, good for 60%. One big win for Capital statistically tonight, it was rebounding. The Crusaders out-rebounded the Bulldogs this evening 50-32 by a very, very wide margin. Turnovers, Capital had 16, Adrian had 13, and Capital led this game from start to finish. Their largest lead of the game at one point was 17. Adrian never had a lead at any point in this ball game. We'll get back to the final stats in just a moment, but in the meantime, it's now time for tonight's player interview, brought to you by the Peking Dynasty. We're happy to be joined by Joey Weingartner, the senior from Centerville, Ohio. Boy, Joey, you had yourself a heck of a night. 32 points, 9 of 16 from three-point range, 11 of 20 from the field. What was going good for you tonight?
Honestly, I gave it all to my teammates. We knew that Adrian was coming in, switching everything, and that I might be open on the backside. So it goes all to those guys finding me on the backside, and I just trusted the shot and went in.
I have watched you play for Capital for a number of years now, and it just seems like whenever you get into that zone shooting the basketball, you're nearly unstoppable. What's it like when you're in the zone, so to speak?
Obviously, it's every basketball player's dream, just to have that kind of, I guess, Michael Jordan-esque feeling of the ball just happen to falling in every once in a while. But honestly, it goes all to the behind-the-scenes stuff, working in the gym, and I mean, that's just where everything comes from. That's what I've always believed in.
You weren't the only player that contributed offensively. Another nice night for Will Hannon, who has 13. Caleb Cox, who had 10. I asked Caleb this question the other night about how this team seems to have a lot more balance offensively, double-digit scores all over the place. Tell me about the state of the offense right now and what needs to improve going forward, if anything.
I mean, when you got 5 seniors on a team that have been around, you got guys in leadership roles. You got 5 leaders out there, and sometimes there's some on the court, some on the bench. So offensively, things that just kind of flow when guys have been playing together for so long. We still have things to work on, so we're going to get ready to do that and get ready for Otterbein.
Just like in the win over Ohio Wesleyan, you have a wide margin in the rebounding category. It seemed like you were able to control the boards from beginning to end. I know Caleb Cox makes a big-time difference in that particular statistical category, but, man, this team is rebounding the ball at an epic rate, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's something we made a point of early in the year when we first started the morning workouts and everything. We look at it as another chance for another opportunity to score a bucket. So those guys are really good at getting to the boards offensively.
So, Joey, let's go ahead and spin it forward. Rivalry game, Otterbein. Anything can happen in a rivalry game, and I've seen some crazy things happen between the Cardinals and the Crusaders. What are you expecting come to Saturday afternoon?
I mean, obviously there's a lot of tension when we play them between both teams, so we know they're going to come in ready to play, give us a game. They just got their best player back, so we're looking forward to a fun Saturday here, just to come out and compete and hopefully come home with a win.
Well, congratulations on the win tonight, and good luck against Otterbein. Thanks, Joey.
I appreciate it.
Joey Weingartner join us here on the Byers Airport Subaru postgame show. Back to the stats we go. We examined the team statistics. Let's now get to the individual statistics. We first start with Adrian. Leading the way for them points-wise was Jeremy Kalanji. Kalanji with 20 points, 5 rebounds, shot 9 of 14 from the field. 8 points for Jordan Harris, 18 points for Treshawn Hurd, 5 points for Kylon Giroux, 10 points for Sam Colbert, 4 points for Cass Oganoski, and 2 points for Keshawn Wyatt Morris. Meanwhile, for Capital, let us go ahead and spin it forward to our player of the game, brought to you by Donato's Pizza. We just had him on for a player interview brought to you by the Peking Dynasty. This is one of the more easy selections that we will have all season long. How about the night by Joey Weingartner? 32 points, 11 of 20 from the field, 9 of 16 from three-point range, and also 1 of 2 from the foul line as well. Oh, and he had a couple of rebounds as well in this game. Just a great night for Joey Weingartner as he's able to set a new career high in single-game scoring. Joey Weingartner, tonight's player of the game, brought to you by Donato's Pizza. Other scores for Capital tonight. Will Hanna had 13. Caleb Cox nearly had another double-double. He had 10 points and 9 rebounds. 7 points and 8 rebounds for Austin Schreck. Again, 32 points for Weingartner. 3 points for Cam Caldwell. 4 points for Reed Bradfield. 7 points for Gavin Wildermuth. 2 points for Logan Jessing. And 1 single point for Dan Auble, who, oh, by the way, had 5 rebounds and 6 assists on the night. Let's go ahead and take a look around the Ohio Athletic Conference. This one last look at the OAC scoreboard is brought to you by Donato's Pizza. A rather busy night here on this Wednesday night as many men's basketball teams around the conference are continuing to play out of conference. So let's go ahead and give you some of those scores this evening. We have a final to pass along to you as Otterbein ends up defeating Denison 76-65. We'll get to the Capital Otterbein matchup coming up this weekend in just a moment as those two teams will face off on Saturday. Ohio Northern is able to eke by Thomas More 65-62. Wilmington comes away with a win over Earlham tonight. They win by 3. And finally, Marietta and Wittenberg, they're in a tight one. This was a late start to the game as well, as Marietta is trailing by 1 late in the first half. Well, let's go ahead and look ahead to the next game for this Capital men's basketball squad. They will look to improve to 4-2, but more importantly, start off on the right foot in conference play when they welcome in the Cardinals of Otterbein, one of the longest running rivalries in all of the Ohio Athletic Conference. The Cardinals and the Crusaders getting set to renew acquaintances with one another coming up on Saturday. Tip-off from the Capitol Center is scheduled for 1 p.m. We will be getting things started with a Jimmy John's pregame show beginning at 12:30. Doesn't matter what the records are for both teams, who is playing for both teams. Crazy things happen when the Cardinals and the Crusaders get together. Doesn't matter what the sport is. It's always a wild affair. Should be very well attended as well. We're expecting a full house here at the Capitol Center. But in case you're not able to get to the game at the Capitol Center, come on and swing by on athletics.capital.edu. Listen to our broadcast. You can even watch our broadcast as well. We give you that option as well. Should be another fun one between the Cardinals and the Crusaders again. 1 o'clock tip-off. The Jimmy John's pregame show will begin at 12:30. Well, for one final time, this is Charlie Danis saying the final score tonight from the Capitol Center. Capital 79, Adrian 67. So long and good night from Bexley, Ohio.